Hello, it's Laura Joy. I wanted to talk a little bit about music. Christian versus secular music is what I usually gravitate towards talking about. Because I grew up Christian and I listened to Christian music. I was homeschooled. I didn't go to public school ever. And I don't really know that whole secular world. But I did start listening to secular music just so I can understand that side of my country. And it's just what I've learned about secular music is that they put themselves there. They're secular for a reason. And I don't think that everything about secular music is bad to a Christian person, because it's just notes, it's just sounds. We all hear sounds, it's communication. And if we're not listening to the other side of the conversation, it's not a two-way street. It's not getting anywhere, because it's just a dead end. It's just a dead end street. So when people have a conversation, the goal is to listen to the other side to see, how can I help you? How can I help the other person? That's what I do with conversations. That's why I say anything at all, is because I want to help the other person out by the words that I say. And it's not about trying to have control of the other person. I know some people like to say, oh, this person is evil because they're trying to control me. And that's just petty, I think. I think that we need to realize that it's just a conversation. It's just the other person's crying out for Christ's sake. They're crying out for help half the time in these songs. There's so many sad songs out there that are like, hey, I did this thing and I regret it. And there's more of that in secular music than there is in Christian music. Christian music is like worshiping God and, oh, I'm so righteous because I worship God. And that's what I'm getting from these people who are in the Christian music industry, is that they're trying to be better than other people. And I don't like that. That's not Christianly. That's not righteous. That isn't. So secular music artists are actually more Christian than Christian music artists half the time. So I like to listen to Taylor Swift. I do like to listen to Taylor Swift. I know she's controversial to everyone, and people are like, oh, she's manipulating me and she's controlling the world and saying chants and stuff. How silly is that? Like, how silly is that? She's a lot like I am. Her voice sounds like mine does. She grew up differently than I did, but she did grow up in the countryside. And I grew up in Iowa, so I tend to think that, not to say that I am better than anyone else, because that's not true, but I do tend to be a little bit like her when I sing. I don't look like her, I don't act like her, but I can relate to this particular artist. But there's also, I listen to 21 Pilots, and I know it's starting to sound like I'm like listening to all these weird artists that are always on the radio, but I think they're cool. I think 21 Pilots is cool. And I really like their style of music because it's not like repetitive and just the same thing over and over again. They do tend to get a little bit sad, but I think that that's necessary for some points in our lives to get a little bit sad and to communicate that. So the other artists I listen to, I don't independently listen to Nicki Minaj. I don't want to start thinking that way. Because there are some toxic mindsets out there. And one of those is like, I'm sexual and I'm alpha woman kind of vibes. And that's just so stupid to me. I'm sorry. It is. I am a small girl. I'm a small girl, and I think like a small girl. I don't think that the way that I communicate the best is to be alpha myself, because I just don't communicate that way very well. When I do, I start yelling really loudly. Like, I can yell really loudly, but you don't want to hear that. Like the other day, I literally went out of the room while calling somebody a swear word and crazy because I get that way. I recently grew up with hearing that word a lot, and so I use it. But that isn't the way to go. You don't look classy when you use words like that. You don't look cool when you use words like that. You don't look like you know what you're doing when you use words like that. And being aggressive towards another person, that's a whole other issue. Like, it's not cool to be aggressive towards another person. I think that being aggressive is correlated with being out of control. I've been watching these videos about people who study like serial killers and people who are out of control. And the whole thing is that they are trying to get control of themselves. And I don't want to go down that route myself, so I stopped listening to those videos for a little bit. But just know that I think that everyone has that instinct in them because we're humans. And if you're going down the route that we're all animals, which that's a whole nother subject, then that would be natural, wouldn't it be? Like, it would be natural to be predatory. Like, okay, think about this. If you were a lion and you did lion things, which are really psychopathic, at its core nature, you wouldn't say, oh, you gotta kill that lion because he's doing lion things, which is lions will go out and they'll see another female lion that is attractive to them, and they'll kill all their cubs and they'll get with this female lion and they'll start a new family. Like, that's what lions do. You don't kill the lion for doing that because it's just what it does. So if you're going to say that we're animals, then sending people to prison for being a human isn't right. Right? I could get into that for days. Back to music. How that correlates with what I was talking about just now is that the thoughts that we think end up being the actions that we do half the time. And it's just like, you gotta be careful. Secular and non-secular music has different sides to it. You can listen to something and you don't hear the words they say, you hear the attitude that they have behind it. And that's why moms are always saying to their kids, check your attitude, dude, because it's not right. It's not about the words that you're saying, because you could be lying to me. You could be straight up lying to me. And if I can read your body language, dude, you can't get anything past me. I know what you're thinking. I know. I can't control what you're thinking, but I know what you're thinking. That's one thing that moms got to keep in mind, is that you can't control your kids. You can't. You can try to nurture them and try to have them grow up in a way that they think is best for them. You gotta tell them and work with them. You gotta be like, do you want to be this person that you're being? Instead of like saying, you gotta do this because I'm afraid of you. Like, come on, that's putting them in the alpha position. It's putting them in this proud state of mind, proud heart state. So don't do that. I mean, do what you want, but I don't suggest it. Anyway, thanks for listening to me ramble on for a little while. I hope you have a good rest of your day. Again. I downloaded a video, or I'm going to, about alpha versus beta males, which is just total stupidity, I think. But I hope you got something from this, and I hope to say more things in the future that'll help you out instead of tear you down. No, none of that. Anyway, take care.